Keller is recognized for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, and I thank all the witnesses for being here today. And I know it's been mentioned that the Postal Service is a service and not a business. Prior to coming to Congress and being an elected office at the state level, I was in private industry, and we provided a service. That's what businesses do. That's what enterprises do. So you can call it whatever you want. They got to be effective and efficient to be able to do it, and they have to have the tools to do that. So I just want to, one of the things that I always looked at is if you tell me how you're going to manage me, I'll tell you how I'm going to perform. And that's what the Postal Service needs, is clear performance metrics. And I think under Postmaster General DeJoy, we've seen some of that. We're here to provide oversight, and I heard it say today Congress is going to ensure the USPS will perform. Well, we witnessed today we can't even start a hearing on time with somebody here to take a roll call vote, okay? And we're here to try and beat up on the post office. I'm not here to do that. I'm simply here to say that there are things that I looked at, and Ms. Hull, I want to appreciate you had sent me the report on the preparedness, and looking at these things, I just would say, and according to your assessment, do you believe the Postal Service is capable of executing its plan for the upcoming peak season? I mean, do you think they can do that? I gathered from this they're ready, but...
Yeah, I think one of the things that we saw that will really help them out, I think, is the deployment of additional package processing equipment. Packages kind of jam up. They're great, and the volume is important, and the revenue is important, but they're challenging to move. So more automation in that area and more focus in that is going to be really helpful. Well,
I guess I'd ask a question. I mean, we're talking about handling packages, and I know there's other places that handle packages that aren't the Postal Service. Have we looked at how they do it to look for like a benchmark or a best practice on how we do that?
Yeah, we benchmark against private sector delivery companies all the time in our work, and the Postal Service does as well.
Yeah, and had we not bailed out some pensions and they had to charge the true cost for what they had to cover their services, we might be a little more competitive too. I'm just going to say that. The other thing I would like to talk about, Mr. Plunkett, you talked about rate increases.
Yes.
I guess. And when we look at delivering any service, it takes energy to do that, right?
Absolutely.
So, and actually, you mentioned that. I want to go back to Ms. Hull or Mr. White. How much of the increase, or how much of increase have we seen in fuel for the Postal Service to be able to execute its mission and deliver the mail? Do we know that? Do we have an answer? How much more we're spending for fuel than we did 2 years ago to accomplish the same mission?
I don't have that answer.
Can somebody get that for us, please? Because I would quite frankly, here we are, we're politicians, right? And in some cases, when we look at the federal government, some people in the government couldn't run a good one-dog show, and they want to try and tell you how to run the Postal Service, okay? I have experience at running things. I ran a $50 million a year budget before I got elected to office, right? And we had to be effective and efficient. So I'd like to be able to see what that is, because we have politicians that are talking about all kinds of things that have increased fuel costs, and now they're griping at you because things that they have done, the Inflation Reduction Act placed on you and shutting down American energy, and now they're griping at you because you have to raise prices. What did they think was going to happen when you have 40-year high inflation? The Postal Service isn't affected by inflation. I mean, you're affected by decisions that the White House makes or the Congress makes when it regards energy policy, aren't you? I think we'd all agree the answer is yes. So here we have a bunch of people that can't start a meeting on time, don't have the people here to take a roll call, make you wait, cause inflation, and then want to bang on you and tell you you can't run things properly, and bang on the Postmaster General. I just don't think that's fair, quite frankly. So I look at those things, and it goes back to the banking. Does the post office do any kind of assessment on the services its customers are looking for? I mean, or do you have people coming to you and say that I want the post office to do banking, or I want the post office to provide electric charging stations? I mean, is the post office aware of any of their customers that have? Because that's what they are. They're customers. In a business, you have customers. Are you aware of any of that, Mr. White or Ms. Hall?
We've done some work in the past on ways to use the retail infrastructure, and we can provide some of that. I don't have the.
But nobody's come to you and said, you know what, I really wish you had a bank here, or that I could write checks, or you'd handle my investments, or you had a place I could plug in my vehicle. That's not your job.
No, we did focus group kind of activities as a part of that, so, but I'm not aware of those two things coming up as part of the focus group.
Like I said, I think we should let the post office get back to its mission and stop trying, when we as the body have trouble running things here, telling you how to do things. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Raskin is recognized.